My dear viewer, I would like to welcome you this day to Kingdom Business Network. This is a channel that brings you business tips, business ideas. We normally have discussions on business. And today we are going to talk about marketing. We want to use this forum as a starting point to help you develop some effective marketing strategies for your business. We want your business to grow. We want it to reach a new height this year. We have prayed for it. Now we want to equip you with some tips that are actually going to help you take it to the next level. And it's all about how well you can market your business. We are available today on Faith Today Television. Please tune in, share with a friend, tag a friend, let them listen. We are also available on Facebook and YouTube. And in case you're watching us on YouTube, kindly consider liking, sharing, subscribing. It helps us with the algorithm to help us reach many more people. And today, to help us unpack these marketing strategies for the 21st century is Mr. John Kamau, who is on my immediate left. John, welcome to this program.
Thank you.
You can kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you. So my name is John. I've been in the marketing industry for quite a number of years. I've been here for 7 years now, and it has been quite a journey, learning to be effective in marketing. So I believe that's where we are at today, and that's the intention of our discussion.
Welcome, John. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
And on my immediate right is Enoch. Enoch, introduce yourself to the viewer.
Well, thank you so much, Doctor. I am so excited to be here, and I'm really excited to see Mr. John come to our show. My name is Enoch from House of Faith, and the theme of this year is breaking all barriers. And we understand that so many young people are into business, and probably you are struggling, and this is the time for you to get to the next level without fail, without delay. Because when you have an understanding of how business works, of how the marketing to be done, then you will not find any hindrances whatsoever. And it's such a very exciting discussion, because for the young people who are trying to come into the space of business, when you look at the scriptures, the Bible talks about these young men, the sons of Issachar, who understood the seasons. It was a time to the people of Israel when they had to transition from one level to another. They had to change leadership. God wanted to take them to another level, but it took a certain breed of young men who had an understanding of how things work, of how Israel should move from one level to another. And I believe for us in this generation, that could be the millennials and probably also the Gen X, who have had an experience of both the 20th century and the 21st century. So having such a combination right here on the panel, I believe that this is a day you don't want to miss, to understand how really marketing is, because most of us in the business space have been doing business. We are not breaking even because we think that just having a business is all. Yet it is important then to market. So you don't have to change your dial, just stick with us, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Enoch. You need to understand that marketing is very, very key.
Very important.
And very, very important, because it's one of the things you do to grow your top line. Yeah. And if you sort your top line, that's your revenue, the rest is easy. You Absolutely. Can easily control your cost. But it's actually very challenging to actually grow revenue. And John, we are talking about marketing. Maybe you can introduce what is marketing and why is marketing important for a business?
Yeah. I'll simplify it. We move away from the designed marketing definitions that we go by. Yeah. I'll summarize marketing as all activities that are meant to put you in a competitive sphere, putting you in the forefront by branding, by presenting you in your products, so that it's more acceptable and appeals to the people that you're looking to buy into it, be it a service or a good. So for me, that's a summary of all the activities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Why is it important for a business?
One of the things you have to remember, marketing is, like we said, all activities that revolve around you getting your revenue and your bottom line correct. One of the things I would say, or I usually emphasize on the most important part is no longer the product. It's how you present it to your people or to your targeted consumer. One of the things that is most important for that consumer is the solution that you're offering them. It's no longer about the product. It's no longer about that service. So for you to be able to appeal and for that product to be deemed fit enough to fit that purpose, it needs to be seen, it needs to be heard, and it needs to be, reasonably assumed to solve a solution right there and then. So I'll use an example. In the service industry, we have food producers or the food industry, hospitality and all. Why would I want to buy food from any random dealer? The only reason I'll buy is because they have presented themselves as being able to satisfy my hunger. And it has to be assumed that this is done according to my expectations. So how I came to know about that person and the kind of food that they are selling or the kind of solution they are offering for my hunger is how they marketed it. So marketing can be as simple as that. They could have told me, I could have been told by a friend, and all those are marketing strategies. I could have seen it on social media. They could have branded something somewhere. I could have met them in a community engagement, and all those are marketing strategies that you'll be looking into as we go. Yes.
Enoch, somebody talked about marketing as a way of creating value to a customer.
Yes.
And then communicating that value to the customer. What do you think about that, about creating value?
Communicating value. I believe that is a wonderful question, and it is very key because people will buy more into how you present. Like John has alluded, it's important. These days it's not about what you're selling, but the value that you are really bringing on market. And for some, if you do not really value, appreciate what you are maybe selling, you may not even go ahead and market it or promote it. Because marketing is a process. You have the product, and then you go to the next level, advertise, and then maybe step it up, promote it to different various channels. Because, Doc, we have seen people who do not have really, their products are not so much like outstanding, but because they have really permeated the system, they have utilized all the available channels of marketing. They are selling more than those people who have a product. It could be nice, maybe even better than that is highly selling. But because they have not promoted their product, they stay on the same level. So marketing is really key. Yeah. When you have similar products, and similar, I mean, when you look at a lot of products that people are selling today, they are really no different from one to the other. And can marketing be a way of differentiating yourself, how you market and how you go about it?
Yes. So one of the things that I would like to maybe mention in a very small sphere is something that we call to a unique selling proposition. It's something that you identify in your marketing strategies to represent your product. Why would anyone want to buy into your product in any way? After you have done your competitor analysis, you choose to go into the same business that everyone else is in. Initially, when the small enterprises started mushrooming in Nairobi, especially Tom Mboya Street, there were so many enterprises that went to the M-Pesa direction. Why would anyone choose M-Pesa A over M-Pesa B?
Yes.
It's the unique selling proposition that M-Pesa A is giving over others. Maybe it could be something as simple as the attitude of the person that you're interacting with. One of the failures of businesses that I'll mention today is that failure to identify a unique selling proposition. We have seen and have interacted with business owners, when you ask them what is a unique selling proposition, I'll tell you quality of service. That goes here, not there. It is no longer valid to just say that your quality of service is what is differentiating you. You need to differentiate your products from others. You need to place yourself where your unique selling proposition is actually selling you and representing your product to the market. Yes.
What is the importance of that, Eric? Enoch, sorry.
Well, it's very important because when you look at the market today, everyone is surviving, You find a lot of competition, people doing the same thing, and they are positioned in the same place. So for you to stand out, then you must have that, you call it the USP, the unique selling proposition. What makes customers like you over the others? How you present your product, how you relate with them, Do you even welcome them? Do you say hi? I've seen the Indians in Uganda, they have really dominated the market. Yet, when you look at our history, they were fired. You know, one of our presidents fired them for a long time. But when they came back, they are really now dominating. Why? Because they understood how to handle their clients, handle the person who's buying from you. How do you receive them? Now, for starters, for example, if a young kid goes to an Indian shop to buy, let's say, buy sugar, what they do is these Indians, of course, they welcome them so much, and then they entice them with certain sweets, these incentives and things like that. Let me tell you this, every day just be sure that you will see this kid. This Indian is sure will be this kid. But this kid is not the one who is really having the power to purchase. The power is with the parents. But because of how this person is handling this kid and then appreciating them or things like that, they prefer to buy from person A rather than person C. And I think that is something that we really need to dive into. Customer centricity, understanding how to really deal and appreciate the customer domain.
Before we get to the 21st century marketing strategies, I want to take you back and about the product or the service that this person we are talking to today is going to offer to the customer. What are the things that you will tell him about the product or service before you even tell him about the strategies?
Yes. One of the things that I have noticed and which is very new in the market is the concept of branding. How you brand yourself, it starts with personal branding. Before we even get to your product and your service, how you present yourself out to your potential customer matters a lot. Be it as an individual, if you're into small enterprises where you are the contact person with your client, or be it as a corporate or even a small business. How you present your product and service matters a lot. You can no longer assume that a product, let's just assume even with our farmers. There are farmers who are into agribusiness. When you harvest your honey, you can't just put it in a pot and sell, really. Nowadays, we are into the brand. We are into all the brand components. It has to start with the presentation. It has to start with the presentation, how your clients will see you in the near future, in the long term. And that is a consistency that you have to sustain. So when you are developing your product or when you are presenting your product to your clients, one of the things you have to consider is its appeal. You have done your research. Nowadays we make data-based decisions. You have done your research to know who your potential buyer is. You have done your research to know where they are and what their buying power is, so that you can determine what kind of branding you are putting out to them and how that product is going to have an influence over them. So once the customer now has been influenced by your brand techniques, now they'll be able to make a decision based on how you have appealed to them. Now that is a strategy I think is missing somewhere. It's a missing link that we have to close and make sure that our people are aware that branding has 70% influence on customers buying or decision making. Yes.
I think viewer, I'd agree with John, and very soon we'll come and discuss about branding as a topic with John soon. So we'll invite you and we'll explore that in depth.
Fantastic.
Now let's delve into our topic today, 21st century marketing strategies.
Yeah.
And we are tailoring this to small micro enterprises in Kenya.
Yeah.
Now, what do you mean by 21st century marketing?
The 21st century has presented new strategies and new spheres of marketing altogether. There has been several ages of growth in marketing. Initially, it was just advertising. Marketing was deemed to be just advertising, where people would just make billboards, flyers, brochures, stand by the roadside and give them to people. Times have changed. It's the age of technology. People now have multiple access to information. There is more interaction with the customer. Initially, you see, conglomerates would just make a product and then put it out there. More than likely, it would be the only product that suited that need. Nowadays, there are multiple competitors. One of the things that are influential in the 21st marketing is the digital age or the digital sphere in marketing. It has multiple phases. We'll discuss them shallowly. One of the phases that we have been hearing a lot and most people are involved in is social media marketing. Social media marketing is a big sphere. It's the decision maker for everyday routines in marketing nowadays. You can't assume that you are going to go far without certain things happening or certain components of marketing not being, paid attention to. So that is just one. We can go to the next one, which is now the most trendy one right now that we are talking about, which is content marketing. We have various platforms that are promoting content marketing. You can talk about YouTube, which is a big platform as it is. We can think about TikTok. Facebook has been a platform. So these are quite new strategies, and we have to get it right. There is a saying that is going around now: posting is no longer marketing.
Posting.
Just posting,
yes.
It's no longer marketing.
Okay.
You have to make a decision on what you are posting. You have to be very intentive, and your intention with your client has to be very clear. Do you want them just to see you? Like we mentioned, branding. Content marketing is also a form of branding. You can brand your company as a very, trendy company online. There are fashion companies that heavily rely on just showcasing their products online just by posting. So that is not marketing, that is just branding. So when you want to market, it now goes to the next stage where you have to now be very decisive and be very intentional on how you take things to get to your clients. Those are several strategies that we can go to.
Okay, wonderful. Enoch, I know you're not that old.
Yes, yes.
But I want to challenge you. What are these traditional marketing strategies that used to happen, but today you feel they are no longer effective? Just from what you think. It might not necessarily be the way it is, but from your lens.
All right, thank you so much, Andy, for appreciating my lens. My lens will look at, in the 20th century, they were so heavy on print and TV commercials, radios, direct SMS, and it is really changing these days because most people now have appreciated the internet. When you look at the landscape that we are in right now, since the internet came, when you look at Kenya, if our focus is Kenya right now, we have over 22 million Kenyans right now on the internet. That means if someone is looking for a customer, internet would be a good strategy for you to do that. And that is talking about appreciating the digital landscape. Because not so many people right now are really watching TV. Some of them are really busy so much. But also TV, they have also learned a way of capturing people's attention. They have also appreciated the digital. You find yourself watching TV. Actually, I'm so excited to know that there are people who follow us right now. They are on TV, but not necessarily having a TV. It is a smartphone, maybe a laptop, or they are diversifying, So it is important to not be, put into the corner to think that you can only, succeed when you do TV marketing. And to some, it could be even more expensive. But right now, appreciating the digital space, I believe it is the way to go. When you look at it right now, in Kenya alone, I think the advent of smartphones has also changed the entire landscape because smartphones then came with internet access, whereby someone has access to so much, they're able to, before they purchase a product out there, they have made up their mind. They're able to navigate different sellers, just at the comfort of their homes without even moving out. And before they move out, they are able to, they know what they want. These days, people no longer just buy stuff. More so here in Kenya. People don't just buy stuff. They first, make extensive research. So that means if you are still operating in the 20th century, whereby you are not exposed to all these digital, platforms that come up, you are going to stay behind because you are not visible. No one is seeing what you do. So it is important in the 21st century for you to understand how things work. I love a quote. Earlier today we were talking about this man, Bill Gates, one of the richest men in the whole world. He made a statement and said that if your business is not on the internet, soon enough you'll be out of business, which is very, very important. So it is very important, like I began saying, understanding the times and seasons that we are in. It is the 21st century. Like Mr. John alluded to, different digital platforms that are available. So I believe you are going to take us through these different channels that someone has to, venture into right now for them to stay relevant and claim a bigger share in the market domain.
Let's come to John. TV print seems to be dying, but it's still alive. We've seen the advent, as Enoch is saying, of digital platforms. If you were to advise the viewer today, would you advise him to be present on TV, on print, that's newspapers, and also on digital, or do you just advise him just go digital?
One of the things that I'll give a huge advice to is making informed decisions. There are multiple phases to businesses, and there are different practicalities to every business decision you make. One of the things that you have to do is make a database decision. And database decisions means that you have to go back and do an analysis of who you want to aim at. If I'm looking at doing print media, more than likely it will be stuck in Nairobi. Nobody reads newspapers. 90% of readers are in Nairobi, to be honest. So if I'm looking at doing print media and I want to be in a newspaper with my ad, I'll be aiming at clients in Nairobi. So I've sat down and I've looked at my marketing, and my competitors. I've done my demographic analysis. I have understood my client clearly. I know where they are. If I'm looking for somebody who is seated in an office, I'll easily do a newspaper. If I'm looking for somebody who is outposted in our villages, there are multiple TV stations now. The native, our native TVs, let me call them that, vernacular speaking TV and radio stations. If I want to aim at a farmer who is in the villages and my business is pesticides, definitely I'll go to any TV that is speaking the national, the native language, or vernacular language. So that is just a different way of looking at both the impact and, the aim that you're looking at getting. Maximizing on different, there is a way of maximizing on different media and their applications. And like I said, one of the ways is making database decisions. The other way is looking at it from your product perspective, the product that you're selling. Who is the consumer? Now you are reverse engineering your demographics, your demographic analysis, and starting with your product. You can as well start with a product that is selling in the villages. It's allowed. If you're into agribusiness, who are you aiming at buying your produce? If you're in the villages, you probably want your produce to sell in Nairobi. So you are aiming for clients in Nairobi. How do you get to them? Your marketing now changes from the village to town. So those are different applications that I think will make an informed decision for you, an informed decision.
So if I hear you, you're still saying that newspapers and also TV is still relevant.
They are still very relevant.
But you need to choose and be very aware on who you're targeting and who that person is. If somebody in the village, most likely reach them through a vernacular radio or television. So it's still relevant. If you are talking to people in the city, you most likely will have to use a newspaper. You will still be able to reach them, and especially if they are older and might be managers for that matter. But now if you want to reach very young people, most likely you have to go digital.
And that is where the impact of social media is clearly seen. 90% of us being, the millennials and Gen Zs are no longer even on TV. With honesty, I can't remember the last time I put on the TV. 90% it's running on YouTube and other stations or other platforms. So that is just a clear indication that times have changed. The generations coming and to come have come with new trends. We have mentioned several of the platforms that are very, lucrative for small businesses. Facebook was one of them for us. For Gen Zs, TikTok is working for them. They are selling through content, and we have seen content creators, they are affiliating with big brands. So the way they have structured their marketing is also very different. They have you have to develop a very innovative way of selling your product on TikTok for it to even appeal. It will be short clips, videos, reels, and such. If you think about Facebook even came up with the Facebook market. 90% of us, from the millennial age, know what Facebook market is. It's a very huge platform. You can buy anything, almost like any other sales platform that you think. If you want to buy third-party goods, even new goods, more than likely you find your favorite brands on it. How they present themselves there is by appealing to that gap, to that demographic. There is also a way of maximizing on sales on these platforms. Maybe we'll have an entire session on that on social media. I think that is something that is worth discussing. One of the things is that you have to position yourself with your product to the right group. You can be on social media, but your demographic is reading 50 and above. You can be on social media and your demographic is the non-decision makers. That will be the age of 18 to 22. These kids are still in college. 90% of them will just want personal consumer goods. Yeah, they want to buy shoes, a few things here and there, but they are not making big decisions. So if you are selling your product, they know your product, know the consumer. Again, that is the strategy that I will still stick by. Knowing your consumer and your, and your product.
Knowing your consumer and your product.
Yes.
Enoch, before we take a break, just want to ask you, what is the most effective digital platform for the young people?
Okay. Well, thank you so much. That is a great question. And, I think it differs. It depends on which generation, like he alluded to the millennials appreciating more of Facebook, yeah? And then the Gen Zs appreciating the TikTok landscape. So I believe it really depends on what's your target. I'll actually put it as your client definition framework. Who is your target market? Who is this client? When you look at the digital landscape or social media, to be specific, it is helping us to really filter out and target that person that you are really interested in. Because when you look at traditional media, it is more broader and it comes with a certain cost. When you look at SMEs, we are understanding these are people who are just starting. Probably they are constrained, financially and things like that. When you go to social media, it helps you, target your client, as opposed to what traditionally it used to be. You can really define your client, refine which kind of person do I want. We are in a space whereby data is available right now, and data is a commodity these days, So you are able to understand this client, their kind of demographics, you are able to do that, you are able to understand their interests, now I want this age group, what are their interests? Social media has gone as far as you can be able to understand behaviors of people. And of course, it was a challenge. For example, Mark Zuckerberg in 2019, he had a case. They were interrogating him about how he's utilizing this data, getting so much data on people. It was really hot for him. But from a business perspective, for the marketers, that is a plus for us. It's an advantage because you have different, data points on people. You are able to target this person with small, budget. You are able to target the right person and really get value. So I believe, like Bishop has asked, it really depends on which platform. For example, me, because I'm a millennial, I appreciated so much Facebook. I had to study so much how Facebook works. Because there are people who are on Facebook and they are really missing it. They are simply boosting and they are wasting a lot of money, so they are frustrated. In fact, I have a masterclass on that. Facebook has two parts. There's this side that you're seeing, and then the hidden side of Facebook that people don't know. Now, the hidden side of Facebook is what business owners, you talked about being intentional. Those who are intentional, who are really into business, you want to have results, go to understand this. It helps you really, capitalize principally on your client definition framework. So, yeah.
John, just before we take this break now, do you think there's a shift for the young people? And young people, I know for marketers it becomes very tricky because you have to actually be specific on what you mean by young or age groups. People who are in their 20s, do you see a shift of them shifting from Facebook to might be IG and TikTok? Where would you really get majority of them? I know they could also be in all of those platforms, but where would you see the majority of them today?
One of the things that I will agree with you is there is a clear shift. There is a clear differentiation between the millennials and Gen Zs. Gen Zs are show people with honesty, and I mean that with a very positive, attitude to that word. They like show and they like show and tell. They get their information from storylines. You have to work with them from a perspective of visuals. And Instagram is big on visuals. They are very intentional on how they present themselves. And in such a case, if you are not on Instagram for the right purposes, you will not appeal to them. One of the things that has also changed is the presentation of products and services. You know, if you're on Instagram, less than likely, a hotel marketing itself will not show their logo. They will show their food, and that is visual. It appeals to Gen Zs. It appeals to the, to the new generation, and that is their consumerism behavior. It's determined by their age group and their interactions. By definition, it's psychographic definition. So that is, it's clear.
It's clear.
Yes.
So, my dear viewer, we are getting to a short break, and before we do that, please consider sending the questions that you have for John and Enoch and myself. We will take your questions after the break. God bless you as you continue to listen.
I wrote a book, a powerful book, that is 7 Keys to Success. All of us want to succeed. Nobody here wants to fail. I have no doubt you have a deep-seated desire how to succeed, but you wonder how. There are principles in this book. I call them keys. There are 7 of them that I have elaborated, that I have discussed in this book, and I have no doubt when you read this book, well, you will succeed. Many people have read it and they have come. The other day I met somebody who told me, well, I read your 7 keys to success and I have been teaching from that book. Actually, she's a pastor and she told me, well, I actually bought several, I have given to my leaders, to my people. You can use it also for teaching and even blessing other people in your family, church, and friends, even your place of work. 7 keys to success. I have no doubt when you read this book, you will succeed. Failure is not your place to be. You can be successful by reading 7 keys to success. Call that number, send a message, and we will respond to you and send you a copy of this book. God bless you, and see you soon. Hello there, and praise be to our God. For the last 21 years, we have been rescuing abandoned babies all over this country. And by God's help, we have been able to rescue now close to 1,000 babies in this country. Well, we thank God for His enabling power. But again, I want to thank all our partners and friends of Happy Life Children's Home that have come alongside us to work with us, to help us to feed these children. Right now we have 61 babies. We have toddlers. We have some in school. We have some in primary school, in high school, school fees, vocational training. And it's not easy, but I want to ask, you can partner with us. You can help one of these children. You can be a monthly partner of any amount, whether you are a student, whether you are working, you are a parent, young people. I want to call upon each one of us. We can do something. Well, I always say nobody has everything, but everybody has something. And at Happy Life Children's Home, we have a saying, you may not change the whole world, but you can change the whole world for one child. We have a pay bill there. I want to ask you right now, please send help for these children. The pay bill is 75512. I repeat again, the pay bill number is 75512. That is 75512. That is the pay bill for Happy Life Children's Home account. You can indicate your name, and we will be more than glad to receive this help for the children, for the many, many abandoned children Actually, our place is right now full. We cannot even take more. People are abandoning children everywhere. But I want to ask that you can work with us and also become a Happy Life friend, where you can become a monthly partner. If you want to do that, you can send a message or call that number or send a WhatsApp message, and we will be able to communicate with you and tell you how you can become a friend of Happy Life. God bless you. I invite you again, be a part of this journey. For the last 21 years, God has been faithful. You can be part of what God is doing through Happy Life Children's Home, Happy Life Mission, in educating these children and even supporting them with the food, milk, diapers, and everything that they need for their daily living. God bless you, and God bless you. The Bible says, as I close, well, he who gives to the poor lends to God. If you give to the poor, you are lending to God. And God is not a debtor of anyone. He will reward you. Thank you, and God bless you.
This exciting discussion on marketing strategies in the 21st century. And we've just been exploring some marketing strategies with John and Enoch here, and we want to pick from where we left. Please consider sending some questions to this panel. We'll take your questions shortly. And John, we were discussing about strategies, and we have a number of strategies that we want to discuss today. And the first one was social media.
Yeah.
So what do you have on social media as far as strategy is concerned, and how can that help small businesses?
All right. Like we have mentioned social media severally on the, even in our discussions. One of the things that I'll emphasize on is your presence on social media is the thin line that, you know, separates you from success and failure. At this age, in the digital era right now, everyone is visible and they are accessible. Literally, customers are begging for you to present to them. So one of the things that you have to be keen on is your presentation on social media. We talked about the difference between marketing and posting. Posting is just a way of creating or being seen. You're not really marketing, you're just visible on social media. So you can make yourself available by posting, or you can be very intentional by creating content that actually markets you and your product. That means going back and knowing the tiny details about your client. We can start with Facebook, for example. On the back end to your social media pages or platforms, there is always we can talk about Facebook Insights, right? So when you are doing your social media planning, one of the things you have to remember is first to actually have a calendar. You know, most of us who started and with the digital era, you know, around 2010, 2011, when Facebook was still young, there was not much to be done. Now we are very intentional. I'll use an example of a healthcare provider. If you're in the healthcare sphere, or you have to have a calendar that affiliates with your activities. That would mean maybe you go back to the ministry and look at their calendar of activities. You have to go back to the WHO and look at their calendar of activities. So you match them to make it content that appeals because it is what is running. Then you have to get mainstream and know what is happening around you, so that that content also resonates with your clients because it is affiliated to directly what is happening. We can go back now to the SMEs and say, if you are into the small production, let's say again, we all have food. If you are in food production, what kind of content are you going to put out there? Is it do you want to educate people on the importance of nutrition, or are you presenting your content because or your food because you are different? There are 5-star hotels, there are 3-star hotels, there are 2 stars, and then there is us in the small enterprises. Why would you want to present your food on social media? It's the appeal that you want to create. And one of the ways of creating, like we mentioned earlier, is visuals appeal to now the new generation. And then not just the new generation, even the old generation. More than likely, if it's around 12 p.m. and then you have put out a post on social media, then be intentional. Who are you targeting with that post? You want people in offices, so you are going to go back on social media and do a filter. You will call it a filter. When you are planning, do a filter to people who are a certain age gap, because more than likely, you know that age group is working in offices. You can filter further and say even their income, because you want your food to, to appeal to a certain group of income earners. So let's be intentional with our posting and so that it now converts from posting and changes to marketing. All right. If you are going to Instagram, the same applies. The kind of content that you're going to put out has to resonate with your client. We've mentioned Instagram is a new generation marketing platform. The new generation, we said, is a very visual generation. So you have to really, really put the extra effort to making sure that the images, the posts, your graphics, they are on point, they are done professionally, right? So when you are doing that, you're also now creating a new brand of your business. You have created, you have evolved. So you're no longer just doing random photos with, and posting. You get extra with them. So let it be an experience. Change that photo to an experience that you're offering in your restaurant, in your food court, whatever it is that you're doing. And that will apply to most. All right. Now, if we go to spheres like TikTok, we have seen agribusiness change. People are now into what we are calling organic farming. If I'm into buying honey, if I want a bottle of honey and I go to the supermarkets, more than likely I need to know who is the producer. There are different aspects to it. One of the reasons I want to know that is to verify the quality of the product and to resonate or to affiliate with that person or the producer. The easiest thing that I have seen happen is farmers who are online. You can name a few. Farmers who are online tend to get better value for their products than who are not. And that applies across the board, even moving away from farming and everything. If you are online and you are showcasing your processes, then it appeals more and affiliates more to your client than that person who is not. And that now creates something for you that we referred to earlier as a unique selling proposition. If I'm a bee farmer and I'm showing you the process of bee farming and all these things that I have accrued across the years so that I can bottle this honey and sell it to you, you appreciate that product way much more than if I'm a faceless person selling you a vague product in an opaque environment that doesn't say how the product came to be. Those are just some of the visuals or some of the strategies that you look into when you're getting on different platforms. So know your platform, know what kind of products is on each platform, and know where your clients are in each of the platforms.
You've introduced a very interesting angle, that is content,
Yes.
Content marketing. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit much more.
Thank you.
Because I know there's somebody there who is asking, what is content?
Yeah.
How do I get this content? How expensive is it to get the content?
Yeah.
Do I need to arm myself with a video camera? I mean, how do I go about getting the right content?
Well, content is variable. There's what we are calling the mainstream content for entertainment. And sometimes that entertainment can turn into a marketing strategy. We can go to simpler things and go back to schools. Schools are also part of the SME sphere, smaller schools, kindergarten and such. I've interacted with clients who are really struggling in getting content right. One of the strategies I mentioned to social media is having a plan. There's a saying, if you don't plan, you're planning to fail, right? Now, if you plan correctly, know your schedules. Now, by knowing your schedules, let's introduce the concept of calendars again. Calendars will guide you in developing content based on what you are doing for that specific day. We'll take a school, for example, like I mentioned. If you have a kindergarten and you're running it and kids are doing a social experiment or a social activity, they are going out to the market, they are doing something out there, CBC has given you content already, right? So you're taking that content into context and turning it into views for your clients. And it's as easy as a photo, it's as easy as an event, and then you're telling your clients, with my school, this is what we do for the kindergartens. This is the activity. You can easily take a small video with your phone and put it on social media in context of what your kids are doing in that school, right? So that now changes the perspective of it's no longer just a big school at the corner, you know, with just a logo, advertising for services. Now they are involving you. You are involving your clients. So basically content marketing is where you are getting involved with your client by offering practical and something practicals that resonate with them. So that's why you see even the land brokers nowadays, if you want somebody to buy into your idea or into your land faster, who do you go to? You go to somebody who has some influence. They make content for you that resonates to them, you know, to your clients. They have understood your clients. They know this is the demographic that lives in this area. These are the people that likely want to buy into that area. So that is when you now develop content that appeals to them. It can be videos, it can be reels, it can be photos, and it can also be, you know, e-shots. E-shots are just basic graphics that go out on social media, but let them be very intentional and let them be prepared in advance with a goal, what we call preemptive preparation. You know floods are here, your pharmacy is there. This flooding season, we are delivering drugs to your home. That is content marketing because you have resonated with your client right there.
With what is happening at that particular time.
What is happening at that particular time.
And I like the concept of actually using calendars because sometimes even the calendar could be as simple as Christmas, Easter, Labor Day, May Day, you know. You take cognizant of particular days and particular events throughout the year. It's a Sunday, it's different from it's a Monday. Monday is a slow day in the office, Sunday is a church day, might be Saturday is a rest day. So as you're generating and churning out this content, you need to consider what is happening in that particular season, what that particular day, what's happening in the country, what is the mood, and then you churn out something which is resonating with what's going on because it's easily relatable. As opposed to what you said about somebody just posting something. And sometimes you post something which actually does not capture the mood of the day or the season or what's going on. Like now we're talking about floods, we're talking about rain. You know, if you can be able to actually associate or relate whatever you're posting with what is happening today, it will capture a lot of attention. Enoch, what do you have to say about content marketing and its importance?
Well, I think we are really now handling the big elephant in the room because now content is king. You know, when you look at it, like Libya had oil, you know, Uganda we have coffee, Kenya there's content, you know. So I think we need to understand, like Mr. John here has alluded to, the fact that you have to be intentional, you know. You don't just enter these platforms just for because you saw an influencer on social media trying to maybe come up with content and then post something. So you think you with your honey, you're going to just put it on your account and then expect people to buy. So that's a challenge that most people now are facing. They're frustrated. They're running away from social media and these other platforms because they did not understand the way things work. And I like the way you have really put it, that you have to be, you must have follow a program, you know. You have to follow a program. There's a structure that you follow. Even AI and all these trends that are coming up, they favor so much if you appreciate the programming. These programs are made. For example, it was Labor Day, you know. If you posted something in relation to labor or work, maybe you are at your farm doing something, then you tag Labor Day. There are higher chances that your post will even go further than these other mini ordinary days. So if you are into this space of selling, you are really intentional about making money online or social media to be specific, you have to be intentional. Then there's this other thing that we wanted to unlock is for some people who are into these platforms, they need an understanding of what to post. Because people really don't go to social media to buy. People go to social media to interact, socialize, so they expect that. But how are you now going to, you know, appeal to these people? You have to go the extra mile of giving a name. We talked about branding, which is very key. Have a brand. What are you selling? Give it a name. Your social life is different from your business, you know. So even Facebook and these other platforms that are coming up, they at least help you segment your, you know, your your industry, your approach. They help you categorize what do you want. If it is farming, there are people who have interests in farming, you know. So you have to have a page that addresses that, because I may not be interested in farming, but people are interested in farming. They're always looking for that information about farming. So you have that page. You are able to understand, how do I make this page attract more clients? You get the idea. So, and this is just to our viewers. It is important to get down to the, you know, drawing board. The scriptures say that put your dream on what? On paper. Make it plain. Start from where things start. Don't just, you know, go into these platforms and then get frustrated and give up. Because the truth is, the times are there. The money is going to that direction. So I believe that, and the content is king. And to just give a brief, I can call it about the content industry. I think also it's important, because right now people are into more of authenticity. They want to relate with you, because everyone is now struggling for this one client. So you must present yourself someone worth to get my money, you know, for me to buy from you. So I think content is what is going to help us preclude the people who are fake and those who are really serious and have the real value. Because content takes you to the entire process. You're a farmer, you get your content, you have your page, go to your farm, show people the entire process of how you harvest this honey, of how you package this honey, of how you even, you know, move it out to the market. I'm telling you, you're going to command a very wide audience. So now for that, then it also gets to a point where you have to appreciate now which platform. If it is social media, what platform appeals more? If I am to present a video content, then you're supposed to think of things like the YouTube. You know, YouTube appeals more. That is video marketing, you know, above all other things. If you do these long videos on Instagram, you may not appeal. You know, Facebook, it is getting, it is still there, but it's dimming. Now they have introduced the short forms, you know. So it is important. So, and people should not worry about, how do I get this content? Just be authentic, be real. You have your page, take this content. You are at the farm, you are at the hospital. I like the way, you know, marketing has changed, has shifted. I had a conversation with you. I'm a medical personnel. We, in the earlier years, that is 20th century, we are not allowed to even do marketing. You can't advertise. You understand? We had a lawyer recently, and he told us, you can't advertise, you know. But when you look at social media, advertisement is relevant. It is relative. That's the word, you know. So you can even market your healthy services or whatever on social media when you understand how it is done. So content is king.
Content is king. Now, let's capture that content in terms of somebody out there. He has a business and he wants to develop this content. What does he require? I mean, what are the tools that he require? Is it him to do it? And if it is him to do it, how will he do it? What tools does he require? Is it that he can hire somebody to come and do it for him? How does he navigate that space? Because from this discussion, it appears we are referring to might be a very young, tech-savvy individual who is able to develop this content. Somebody is in their 40s and wants to capture these advances in technology, the changes in the marketing trends. How does he go about it?
One of the things, learning has no age. There are two options that we can look at. I've seen the older generation basically just go on YouTube, take books, learn. That is option one. Learn how to do things. Social media is never that complicated. It's a sphere that you can take your time to learn. In a span of 3-4 months, you'll be good to be able to represent yourself. Option B, which is the best, is a professional approach. Don't be a jack of all trades. You'll be good in that. Look at things professionally. Traditionally, we used to have traditional marketing agents who would represent different organizations. They would advise you on marketing, and it was very clear that their specialty was that. Nowadays, we have social media, managers. You don't necessarily have to have them on your site. There are people who are freelancing out here. There are people who are doing small packages. You can look at somebody or explore an opportunity with somebody who has packages for you. They'll tell you, I'll do content for you for 1 month, and these will be the rates. I'll do 6 posts for you. Then you can be able to approach it from that direction. In terms of tools, if you want to do it yourself, a good phone is a fast approach. Get yourself a good phone. Get yourself a good quality camera, even on your phone. If you intend to do social media content from your farm, of course, a good camera would apply. But remember, what is your long-term goal? Are you intending to make these very long-term, or is it an introductory strategy? Are you looking to just introduce yourself to the market? Once it peaks, you leave. Your investment in social media should also be determined by certain decisions. So take it keenly, get a professional to advise you, and if you are really in it for the long term, then learn. Yes.
We have a few questions that our viewers are asking, and please, viewer, thank you for staying engaged and sending questions to us. We are here because of you, and so long as you're here and you need us, we'll actually be here to help you answer some of these questions. Now, John, there's somebody saying, my name is Faith, and Faith is asking, can I use social media to build a B2B, business-to-business marketing strategy?
Yes. Remember, businesses are all over the platforms. One of the things you have to put considerations is what kind of service are you selling, or who are you appealing to. B2B services, let's take consultancy for example. You can't do B2C consultancy. Your product is B2B, business to business. Yes, it is doable. We have seen it. It's a matter of your choice of platforms. One of the biggest platforms for B2B right now is LinkedIn. You can't be
LinkedIn.
Yes. If you are a business and your intention is to network with other businesses, be on LinkedIn and make content that appeals to your potential partners. They no longer cease to be consumers, now they become partners. So be on LinkedIn. That's my first advice for them.
So I like that answer, because actually the choice of social media, it's determined by what type of business you are in.
Yes.
If you're dealing with consumers, then it might be more Facebook, Instagram, TikTok oriented.
Yes.
If it's business to business, then where are your business people? Where are they found? And I like that answer, that it's LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We have Rogers. Rogers, you are listening to us from Ruaraka, and you're saying that I'm enjoying your show with my colleagues here at work. Thank you, colleagues, for watching us. Please help us understand, one, as business people, how can we effectively leverage data and technology to deliver personalized and customized marketing experiences to our customers?
We've discussed something we call demographics. One of the things that you have to leverage on is its advent of data and AI. If I want any kind of data right now that is very comprehensive, I can simply search it on Google and I'll get it. One is understand your industry, know who the industry influencers are. If you are working in a sphere, for example, let's say manufacturing, your industry being manufacturing of any kind, you have to jump on the bandwagon and know what ministry controls information for you. One of the things you have to know is the government audits. And government audits are free information. They can be used for you and other players in your industry to make a decision. Secondly, you also leverage on what you are calling AI. AI is as simple as jumping on a tool. We can even use ChatGPT. If you have not been on that platform, get on it, right? So start data mining, start asking questions. Then third, there are what we call social media insights. If you're already on social media, go back to your page and look at the insights that it has given you. It will give you a better understanding of your client, where they are, what they prefer, what their age group is, just simple things. Then third is doing something that is very critical, something we call a SWOT analysis. A SWOT analysis is a self-analysis of an organization: strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. Do that and you'll never regret it. Then last, with your SWOT analysis, you'll be able to do something called a competitor analysis. There is something that we usually refer to. If you are in marketing, look at yourself as a military general. Military generals never develop strategies without knowing who their enemies are. And that applies to every business. If you are in business, know your competitors. They are a direct threat. They determine everything to your business, to do with your business. You don't set the prices yourself. You set the prices because they were set by your competitors. So you are competing with them. Either you want your product to look better, so you mark it up, or you want to match the market demands. So you're going to match what the market is offering. So those are data sources that you can work with. Competitor analysis, market determiners, the government, all that information is around us. Now, when you're making your decisions in such a way, if you have already identified your client, you will not have a struggle appealing to them. If I already know that my product is consumed by a 40-year-old, 50-year-old, I will not have a problem appealing to them because I know where to find them. I'll find them on church on Sunday morning. I'll put up a tent, I'll network with them, and we can get business done, right? If I know that I'm appealing to millennials, where do you find us? At work, yeah? At work, social gatherings. More than likely, if you set up a tent, we just pass by and not interact with you. So how do you appeal to me? You have to do more. You have to do more on social media, on specific platforms that you have identified that I am on. So those are just some applications of data. Then the other application of data, like I mentioned, you are not operating in a closed system. You're in an open system, and this data is also being applied to produce products, to advance services, and to even set prices. So from that specific, data source, let's use the competitor analysis you did. If I'm a hardware owner, let's just assume that, I would have to know that this is a market range of certain products. Taking a product as cement alone, I know in a certain area, because I've done my consumer analysis and competitor analysis, I know people are building, it's season. So right now cement might be more expensive because it's rainy season and people have unique struggles. If you already know your house has a crack and you're buying cement at this rate, then it will be marked up. It's simple as that, right? So there are market fluctuations that are also determined by trends. Know that and put it in data to make your decisions.
Wonderful. I think what I can add to what John is saying is that if you're running a business, please collect as much data as possible to understand your customer, because it's from this data that you're going to be able to make marketing decisions. And you'll find even people like Facebook, for example, if you approach Facebook, you realize that they've collected a lot of information about all the people on their platform. And if you wanted to advertise on Facebook, for example, you can actually filter down and tell them you want to target people, let's say, in Thika, and you want them to be at this particular demographic of age and all that, and you'll be able to actually have targeted ads to those particular people. And that's the power of data. So you can collect it yourself. You can also utilize some of these platforms that have that. Now, there's somebody asking here, my name is Biko from Karen. This is a very interesting show, and he's asking, how can I leverage the power of influencers and strategic brand partnership to reach new audiences?
This is a very common question, actually. There is a proper way of doing things. One of the things that you have to know is understanding your company and who it appeals to. There are different kind of content creators in Kenya, and each one of them is a brand. That's from an understanding. You have to know that an influencer makes content based on who has been following them. So before you jump on the bandwagon and appeal to a certain group, you have to know that this person appeals to a certain group too. So if I'm looking into the healthcare business, there are influencers who have been doing content for the healthcare industry. I have seen doctors online giving insights, and they are influencers by their own right. I've seen other people in construction, and they are influencers in their own right. So from that perspective alone, you have to understand that your product will appeal to a certain demographic because that person carries that demographic. So now, when you're making the decision, make an informed decision by sitting down with an advisor on that matter, and even with an agent who represents that influencer. Remember, your reputation will also extend to the influencer. So if the influencer's reputation goes down, it goes down with you. That is the downside to influencer marketing, and it has to be said. So if you want proper marketing to be done by your influencer, know their demographics, know their behavior, and know them personally to know who they appeal to and what their decision process will be in the future.
Wonderful. Now somebody is adding to that and asking, hello KBN, I'm Wesley. Yeah, I'm Wesley. The name is Wesley. What are the best metrics to track for influencer marketing?
Well, Facebook has given us, I'll start with Facebook mostly. There are different, what you call CRMs, customer relations management systems. A CRM is basically, we can call it a system that helps you gather insights. It will give you a funnel where you're collecting your clients or your leads, and then which ones have already converted and how much revenue they actually made. It's possible for you to be able to do a CRM for your influencer. You're tracking the leads that came directly from this influencer and how many actually converted to sales or how many are you actually closed. So from that perspective, it gives you a very clear way of tracking the performance. There are also what we call KPIs, key performance indicators. Sit down with your person and ask them, so what is it that you think you can offer? Don't be afraid. Don't be too starstruck to ask these questions. One of the things you have to remember, it's an investment paying them. It's also a lot of investment facilitating them. You're paying them and then you're facilitating them and you're putting your reputation on the line. So when you're doing that, sit down, develop a structure, and especially a CRM-based structure for them to be able to be gauged at the end of the contract.
Wonderful. Now we have Peter. Peter is watching us from Germany. Thank you, Peter, for watching us all the way from Germany. Peter is saying this is a very, very rich conversation, and he's asking, what are the best considerations in marketing to avoid overspending and overstretching that may affect the business adversely?
All right. I'll use another reference. One of the references that I usually say is plan ahead with marketing. Marketing is a factor of production, and it should stay as such. If you are a company, or let's start with manufacturing, all the factors of production, labor, materials, all that, energy, you factor them in there. The one thing we never remember to do is marketing. It's a factor of production, whether you like it or not. At this age, if you sit back and don't plan ahead in your annual strategic setting plan, in your annual goal, have marketing planned ahead. Have a strategic plan for marketing. Once you do that, then you can have a budget. Set aside an entire budget for marketing. And there is something that I will say, I'll add to it. There is something called agile marketing. Market according to seasons. Know what you will apply in what season. Like for example, right now, we have quite a number of young people at home. If your product resonates in any way with the younger people, it's the right opportunity. So get on the bandwagon with them on the platforms that market to them or appeal to them. That would be social media. Now, after they have left, who are you left with? The decision makers. Where do you find the decision makers? So make key informed decisions based on your budget and be very agile so that you can also appeal in different platforms in different seasons.
Thank you. My dear viewer, because time is very much gone, we will continue with John next week, same time, on the same platform that you're watching us, same time. And we'll pick from where we've left and we'll discuss about customer experience.
Yes.
But before we do, there's one last question I would just want to pick from my namesake known as John. John, thank you very much for watching. So I'll give you 1 minute to respond to your namesake. He's saying, can John describe a recent campaign he ran on social media? I want to see a practical example of what he did. So John wants to give you a hard time.
No, it's not a hard time. From from one of my employers, we are currently doing a campaign for an open day surgery. Okay. A surgery open day. So we are looking at getting certain kind of patients who have certain conditions. So our content has actually been done in such a way that patients who have orthopedic needs, patients who have neurological needs or disorders, patients with ENT problems can be attended to, knowing the situation that we have. That now has converted this, like I said, market according to seasons. So our public facilities are no longer open. That means it's really another angle for helping, one, the patients, and two, for the facility to also get patients who are going to be attended to in certain in certain procedures that are not necessarily common in that facility. So, like we said, healthcare marketing is also a very different sphere. I will not outrightly tell you to get sick so that you can come to my hospital, but I'll tell you, if you have somebody who is suffering at home and they need assistance, I definitely have the doctors, I have the wards, I have the facilities to help that patient get better at the shortest time, and with a better condition, right? So from that, I don't know, am I allowed to mention my employer?
You're free, you can mention.
So from that perspective alone, I'll mention that it's Luton Hospital. So that is the campaign that we are currently running. So John, feel free, check us out on social media. Luton Hospital is along Gong Road, where China Center used to be. So that is what we'll be doing from the 25th of May this year to the 30th of May. We'll be having an open day surgical.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So now I want to get to the parting shots, and Enoch, 1 minute to give us a parting shot.
Well, thank you so much, Bishop. I am very excited about this conversation about marketing because I believe it's now going to give so much insight, understanding, and the tranquility to those who are worried about, approaching this marketing. As I conclude, I want to just probably add on what Mr. John has said. It is important when you are entering into the space of, marketing, before you engage influencers. Just wanted to advise, someone else asking for that advice. Before you engage an influencer, it is important to refine your content, work on your content, You don't have to have these wild ideas of how it should look like because you will end up, compromising the standard. What you do is get what you have right, get your product right, be excellent at how you may be recording a video or whatever, then boost. You don't have to boost. You have to now post. That's the way to go. Post this content, for some time. The way you have seen Faith Today Television, we have just come into the market. We are celebrating 1 year in 2 months from now. We were not in any way calling for people to come and advertise with us, market with us. No. What were we doing? Giving people value, giving people content. And I'm sure people will appreciate. I just wanted to pass this advert. We are celebrating our first year anniversary. Come this, is it July? Yes, we are celebrating our first year anniversary. If you want to advertise with us, market with us, I think we have the best. We will help you get your brand out there. We will help you get your value for money. We call it the return on investment. So it's very important that you also understand that. We are right here at Blessed House. If you want to get any information, you want to advertise with us, we are now open for business. Thank you so much.
Blessed House is opposite Garden City.
Yes, opposite Garden City.
Thank you very much, Enoch. John, parting shots to the viewer.
All right. So one of the things I have underlined, and I would like to underline it in capital letters again, is marketing is a factor of production. Don't assume that marketing will be done within the year as a random activity. Know your marketing strategies, develop them way in advance, and make a budget for it. Make considerations for getting a professional to advise you on different marketing strategies. Make data-based information, decisions, and keep winning. That is it. Get on board with the digital sphere. That would be my advice. So keep winning.
Wonderful. Now, dear viewer, this has been a very insightful discussion on marketing in the 21st century. We didn't exhaust everything. We want to continue from where you've left. We have to cover areas like mobile marketing. We're going to also cover agile marketing coming Thursday. We also want to cover the other area is customer experience. I just wanted to make sure that I tell the viewer what we're going to cover next week. So please stay tuned and continue to like, share, and comment, and we'll be blessed by your input and your engagement. With that, may God bless you very much, and God bless you.